All right, let's dive into one of the most iconic scenes in all of history, the Last Supper. Now, you've probably seen the famous painting, but this story is so much more than that. It is absolutely packed with drama, deep symbolism, and a final, powerful lesson that honestly still resonates today.
Think about that. This wasn't just any dinner. It was an incredibly intimate gathering, but it was heavy with meaning, with foreshadowing, and with a message that was designed to echo for centuries. It really represents this huge, pivotal moment of transition, and it's just filled with love, tension, and a whole lot of teaching.
So let's set the scene. You got to picture this. We're in an upper room somewhere in Jerusalem. It's during the bustling festival of Passover, the huge annual celebration of liberation. So while the whole city is celebrating freedom, inside this room, the mood is, well, it's different. It's sacred, for sure, but also incredibly somber. Jesus is there with his 12 disciples, the guys who'd been with him for years, and they're in this quiet space, just hours before his crucifixion. And then Jesus says this. The emotional weight behind these words is just immense. It really sets this tender, grave tone for the entire evening. It's a statement of deep affection, of purpose, and he's saying it knowing full well the suffering that's about to unfold.
And it's during this meal that Jesus takes these ancient symbols of Passover and he does something totally new. He establishes one of the most central rituals in Christianity, communion. It's this powerful practice of remembrance that has been carried on for millennia.
Okay, let's break this moment down because it's huge. He takes bread, a basic symbol of the Passover meal, and he calls it his body, which is given for them. Then he takes wine and calls it the new covenant in his blood. Now, a covenant is a sacred binding agreement. For centuries, the old covenant was based on law. But right here, Jesus introduces a new one based on his sacrifice. He is radically reinterpreting these symbols to be all about remembrance, about personal sacrifice, and about a whole new relationship with God.
So, just as the disciples are trying to process the weight of this new ritual, the tone in the room shifts dramatically. Jesus drops a bombshell. One of the men in that very room, one of his closest friends, is about to betray him.
Can you just imagine the scene? A stunned silence. Then this hushed confusion just ripples across the table. One by one, the disciples look at Jesus, they look at each other, and they each start questioning their own heart. And get this, even Judas, the one who's going to do it, asks the very same question, hiding his plan in the middle of everyone else's shock and sorrow.
So with this tension of betrayal just hanging heavy in the air, you'd think that'd be it for the lessons of the night. But nope, not even close. After the meal, Jesus does something completely unexpected, something that would turn their entire understanding of leadership and power completely upside down.
This was a truly radical act. I mean, in that culture, washing someone's feet was the job of the lowest servant in the household. So for their lord and teacher, their rabbi, to get on his knees and perform this menial task, it was utterly shocking. This was a direct, physical lesson that just shattered all social norms and expectations of what a leader should be.
And Jesus doesn't leave the meaning of this act up for interpretation. He spells it out for them, crystal clear. This isn't just a one-time thing. It's a model for how they are supposed to live. The core message here is that true greatness, true love, is expressed through humbly serving other people.
You see how all of these moments, the bread, the wine, the warning of betrayal, and the washing of feet, are all building towards one final, overarching instruction. This is the culmination, the big takeaway from everything Jesus taught that night.
So if we just distill the events of that evening, these are the core themes that really pop out. Everything Jesus said and did revolved around these powerful concepts: love, humility, service, remembrance, and fellowship.
And there it is, the ultimate takeaway. Notice he doesn't call it advice, he frames it as a new command. It's so simple, so direct, and yet incredibly profound. And the standard for this love isn't some abstract idea. It's the very love he has just shown them, a sacrificial, serving, humble kind of love.
So as the meal ends, they sing a hymn together, and they leave the upper room. Their next stop is the Mount of Olives. It's a garden where Jesus is going to pray in agony, preparing for the arrest and crucifixion that he knows is coming. That intimacy of the supper is about to give way to the solitary struggle that lies just ahead.
And that leaves us with this final thought. The command to love one another is presented as the most valuable lesson from this entire story. It takes this ancient event and it turns it into a very present-day challenge for all of us. So the real question becomes, in our own lives, in our communities, how do we practice this radical, humble, and serving kind of love?